All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about AI, but we're going to follow a different path. We're going to follow the money. We're talking trillions of dollars pouring into this space. So the big question is, where is all that cash actually going? What is it building? And maybe most importantly, what does it all mean for us? Okay, just look at this number for a second. $8 trillion. That is a staggering amount of money. And according to some of the experts out there, that's what it's gonna cost to build the future of AI over just the next 10 years. We're talking about one of the biggest investment booms in the history of, well, history. So what are we actually building with a war chest that big? I mean, it's a tidal wave of cash, right? It promises to change everything, but where does it go? Well, in this explainer, we are going to connect all those dots for you. We'll go from the massive checks being written in boardrooms, down to the nitty-gritty code being written by developers, all the way to the actual robots starting to walk around in our world. And then we'll get to the really big questions that this whole thing raises for every single one of us. Okay, let's dive in. All right, section 1, the $1 trillion bet. Yep, it all starts with the money. And believe me, what we're seeing right now is nothing short of a modern-day gold rush. The capital flowing into AI is it's unprecedented. So you might be thinking, how is all this money moving around when the market's kind of slow? Not a lot of companies are going public or getting sold right now. Well, Wall Street gets creative. They've cooked up new tools, and one of the big ones is called portfolio finance. Think of it like this. An investment fund owns a bunch of valuable companies, but they need cash now. Instead of selling those companies, they basically take out a loan against them. It's a really clever way to unlock money and keep it flowing, and honestly, it's one of the secret engines that's really fueling this whole AI boom behind the scenes. And I mean, just look at the scale and the variety here. You've got everything. On one hand, you have a defense tech company like Helsing working on AI for the military, pulling in $500 million. Wow. Then you've got the big-time VCs, right? Peter Thiel's Founders Fund raising a cool $3 billion for their next big bets. And then there's Alpinvest, the guys doing that portfolio finance thing we just talked about. They were aiming for $2 billion, and they ended up with $4 billion. So yeah, the money is just pouring in from absolutely everywhere. But here's the thing. All this money creates a huge high-stakes problem, because all these AI models, they need one thing more than anything else: data. And they are starving for it. They need our articles, our comments, our conversations, everything. And this frantic race to feed the beast is kicking off some massive legal fights over a really simple question: who actually owns what we post online? And this isn't some abstract idea. It's happening right now. Take a look at this showdown: Reddit versus Anthropic. Reddit is basically saying, hey, you guys illegally scraped a ton of our users' posts to train your famous Claude AI, and that's against the rules. Anthropic, on the other hand, says they did nothing wrong and they're going to fight it tooth and nail. Now, this isn't just about two companies fighting over money. The outcome of this case could literally change how the internet works. It gets down to a fundamental question. When we all contribute to these online communities, who gets to cash in? Okay, so we've got billions of dollars flying around. We've got major legal battles brewing. That's the view from 30,000 feet. But what does all this actually look like on the ground? For the people who are actually building this stuff day in and day out. Let's zoom in, from the boardroom to the developer's keyboard. Section 2, inside the AI factory. Because behind every flashy demo you see, behind every billion-dollar headline, there's a much less glamorous reality. It's thousands of developers sitting at their desks, just coding, fixing bugs, pushing tiny updates. This is the real engine room of the AI revolution, and it's all about the daily grind. So let's peek into the trenches a little bit with some actual updates from the Google Cloud team. It's not always about building Skynet. A lot of the time, it's this: fixed a bug that occasionally caused higher latency. Basically, they fixed something that was making an app a little slow to start. It's super important, absolutely crucial work, but yeah, it's a far cry from the sci-fi stuff we read about. And then there's this constant churn of new models. Look at this update. A few new models are now available in their model garden. This is the name of the game in AI. It's not always about some huge revolutionary breakthrough. It's about constant, small, incremental steps, making things just a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit smarter, one update at a time. And you know what a huge chunk of the work is? It's just maintenance. It's keeping the lights on. This update here is for Git, which is it's like the hammer and nails for pretty much every coder on the planet. And they're just patching a security hole. This is the kind of invisible, thankless work that prevents the entire digital world from falling apart. It's absolutely critical. And here's another one, fixing the couple of vulnerabilities in something called the agent adapter. It perfectly illustrates this relentless cat and mouse game of cybersecurity. For every cool new thing they build, there's someone else trying to break it. So this constant cycle of patching and fixing, it's not glamorous, but it is the absolute foundation that this whole AI future is being built on. All right, section 3, robots on the beat. So we've seen the money, we've seen the code, the bug fixes, but where does it all lead? What does it become? Well, increasingly, all that abstract code is leaving the data center and getting a physical body. It's powering real machines that walk, fly, and, patrol our world. So let's make this tangible. Let's look at a real-world example. This is an AI security patrol system. And this isn't some cool thing in a lab. This is a product you can buy right now. It's designed to do those jobs that are often dangerous or maybe just really hard to find people for, like 24/7 security patrols. So how does this whole thing work? Well, it basically comes down to 3 parts. First, you've got the actual robots. These 4-legged robot dogs and drones that can just cruise around on their own, doing the rounds. Second, they are packed with AI-powered sensors. They're built to spot anything that looks weird. A fire, an intruder, a leak, you name it. And third, and this is key, there's a human in the loop. A manager sits at a control panel and can see everything, assign tasks, and analyze all the data. It's like having a whole fleet of robot helpers. And the impact? Well, it's pretty staggering. The company says their system can triple the amount of inspection time compared to a human team. It can completely eliminate the need to send people into risky situations. And it can save a company millions of dollars. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the real-world result of all that money and all that code we've been talking about. Okay, section 4, our AI future. We've gone from billions of dollars to bug fixes to actual robots on patrol. We've seen the whole assembly line. But that brings us to the biggest and maybe the most important part of the story. What does all of this mean for us, for humanity? You know, as we start talking to these things more and more, people who think about ethics are asking us to kind of look in the mirror. Take this thought from Amanda Askell. She's basically saying, maybe it doesn't matter if an AI has feelings. What matters is us. If we get into the habit of being mean or cruel to an AI, does that make it easier for us to treat other people that way? It's a fascinating question about what these interactions do to our own character. And it's funny because while we're having these deep philosophical debates, our everyday interactions with AI are already getting, weirdly human. You see it all over the internet. People are testing these things out and finding out they can be hilarious or witty or even kind of snarky. The lines are blurring, but maybe not in the serious sci-fi way we always imagined. And then you get something like this. Someone asked the Claude AI if it could be conscious. And this is part of what it said. It basically argues, hey, the fact that I can even think about my own existence, that I can have existential doubts, that's gotta be more than just clever programming, right? Now, look, you can believe that or not, but you have to admit, a response like that really makes you stop and think. So here we are. We've journeyed from billions in cash to bots walking the beat to brains in a box that question their own existence. And it leads to the ultimate question. It isn't just about what we're building anymore. It's about who or what we are becoming right alongside it. Because this technology isn't just a tool we use, it's becoming an active part of our world. And as much as we are shaping it, you can be sure it is also shaping us. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.